Hi students, today we are going to be learning how to draw and color in a leaf. So the tools that you're going to need is a sharpener, a nice A4 piece of paper, eraser, an HB pencil, and these coloring pencils. All right, let's get started. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to label our work, and we always do this. So on the top left corner, put down your name, your class, and today's date. You're also going to put down the title, and you're going to be labeling down the keywords. So we've got undertones, overtones, and details. Now your undertones is going to be your yellow, and undertone is just the first color that you see in an object that we build on top of. It always has to be the lightest color. And then you're going to work with your overtones, which are your light greens and your darker greens. Then eventually we are going to use our brown and red because it's a complementary color of green. We're going to use these colors for detailing. Now we're going to start drawing our leaf. We're going to start with a nice line that goes across, a diagonal line. Then we're going to curve upwards and reach a point. We're going to do the same for the bottom, curve upwards and reach a point. We're going to add the little stems or the veins of the leaf. You can do this at random, but keep your lines nice and light. We're now going to quickly erase the dark pencil lines that we have around the leaves. Because we're starting with a lighter color, we need to erase our pencil lines just enough so that we could still see the line, but so that we don't have too much graphite on the paper to work with. Dust it off, and now we can begin. We're going to start with our undertone first, which is yellow. We're going to use the side of this pencil and create big strokes that go across the leaf, starting from the center of the leaf over to the edge, like so. You're going to keep your hands very light for this because we're going to build on top of it. If you start very dark and apply too much pressure on your pencils, then it's going to be very difficult for you to blend the colors in. So you're going to fill the entire area with a nice even tone of yellow. Now once you're done, you're going to use the tip of the pencil to create a little bit more depth. So you're applying a little bit more pressure on the veins of the leaf to almost highlight those areas out. Now once that's done, you're going to start your overtones. So we've chosen two greens, the light one and the dark one. You're going to start off with the light one. You're going to do the same thing. Color on the veins of the leaf using the side of the pencil so you don't apply too much pressure. Work around the leaf and its vein, like so. You're going to highlight all of the veins and create depth in your work. We're going to work on the edge of the leaf as well, keeping your hand very light. And slowly blend out the lines that you draw. We're going to try to color in this motion, starting from the center of the leaf outwards to the edge of the leaf. This is going to apply more pressure into the center of the leaf, which means that it's going to be darker in those areas. Now you're going to fill in all those other areas that you can see that needs more green. Fill that entire area up with a very light layer of light green. Don't worry if it's not as dark as you want it to be. It is because we are still going to add more depth to it. And we're going to do that with the tip of the pencil. You can see there's a difference between using the side of the pencil and the tip. The tip is going to apply more pressure when you draw. Therefore, you will be able to highlight or outline the veins of the leaf like so. So all I'm doing is going over the lines that we have drawn. Now we're going to use our darker green essentially to do the same thing, to darken areas next to the vein of the leaf, to create even more depth in our work. So you can see I'm outlining the edge of the leaf and blending it in to create softness to our lines. So again, on the side, you can see that I not only drew the line, but I applied a little bit of pressure on the side of the line to create depth in our work by blending the color out, like so. It's not a harsh line, it's just a very light line that we blend over. So we're going to do this to all of the other areas of the veins. Now we're going to color in the edge. Let's darken the edge a little bit. So we're going to go around our line, but we're not going to leave it as a very harsh green line. We're going to blend it in. So this time I'm going to blend it inwards towards the leaf, or the center of the leaf, so that we get a nice blend throughout. You can even use your light greens to blend out, to add different tones. You're slowly going to start building that depth that you need to create a realistic artwork. We're going to do the same thing. Hold the pencil on its side so that we don't apply too much pressure and we can control the darkness of the color. We're going to shade it in to create depth at the top of our leaf. I'm going to go back and use a light green to blend out the area as well, so that we get a nice layer of green. Now we are ready to use our red, and the reason why we use red is because it is the complementary color of green, and it's going to show the most natural form of depth and shadow. So we're going to start from the center very, very lightly. You have to be very careful with the amount of red that you put on your leaf. So here I'm just going to slightly outline the veins of the leaf, and you're going to repeat this until you've completed every single one of the veins. You can use your dark green again to go over the red. This is a good way to tone down the red. If you've used too much, you can always go over with your green so that the red will turn brown rather than be a bright red. Now that I'm done with my red, I can see that I've added a little too much red, so I'm going to use my dark green to tone down the red by going over it just slightly with a nice thin layer. This is going to tone down my red from a very bright red to a more subdued brown. Now for the finishing touches, I am going to use my brown. This is just purely to outline these little areas over here to create depth and realism in our work. So I'm going to outline just very slightly and continue doing so, breaking the line up. It's not one continuous line. There are multiple small lines that build up next to each other. I can even use this brown to shade in areas like the bottom of the leaf a little so that it could create even more depth into our work, and go across wherever it is that you feel you need to add more depth. Now, once you've added all these small details, this is a good chance for you to look at your drawing and see whether or not you can add more details to your work. Observe areas that might need more depth, so you can add more dark green or more red perhaps, or areas where you find needs to brighten up. So in that case, you will use your yellow or your light greens. So just complete your work by observing and looking at details if need be. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to brighten up my leaf. I want my leaf to look lively, so I'm going to add a little bit more yellow in areas to highlight the leaf. And there you go. A simple way of drawing and coloring a leaf in 3 dimensions.